Hey guys, it's Caden. Welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have someone who I'm really excited to talk to. Growing up, one of my favorite channels to watch was Before They Were Famous, a documentary channel centered around celebrities, rappers, YouTubers, singers, songwriters, people within that stress. So I figured given by the time this releases, I'll officially be 22, it's only right to talk with the person who made a lot of my teenage years, Michael McCrudden. Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. I've been hearing that a lot from kids. You guys are growing up now and working in jobs that I frequent. But it's the local drive-through or like a hardware store or you at a magazine. All these kids now are getting jobs and telling me how impactful the show was for them. So it's been pretty cool.
It definitely has. And let's get down to business. A lot of people definitely know you, but as we'll see during this interview, there's a lot they may not know about you. So, for those that somehow don't know you, do you mind summarizing a bit of your story in your own words?
In terms of the autism or in terms of before they're famous?
Either or is fine with me.
Well, yeah, no. Before they're famous, had a great run. It's still going. The internet when I was doing it was the Wild Wild West, and it was very much a television show. I adopted the formula and put it on the internet on YouTube, and that was cutting edge at the time. And it went viral, and I was able to stretch out a few viral videos into a decade-long career. COVID wasn't great to us. I had 12 employees. There was also some outside something happening. I couldn't get on Facebook. My website got hacked. So a few signs that maybe I was flying too close to the sun, or I didn't go to enough P Diddy parties. I don't know, but I'm kind of moving on from before they're famous. It still exists. It's still an operating business, but I'm having more fun making Michael McCrudden content. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And that's a very great place to be. And going into the autism community for Ben, what was it first like for you as an uncle when you found out your nephew was on the spectrum?
Correct. Yes, I'm actually his godfather, Ethan McCrudden. My brother's my best friend. He's got three kids, and the third kid, we could tell even when he was an infant, there was something a little different, right? He wouldn't react as quickly to if you were cuddling him or playing with him as a child. There was something that wasn't connecting. And then we didn't know right away. You don't know for quite some time. You're trying to figure out what's going on. And I think around 4 or 5, it was diagnosed he was severely like he in the spectrum. He's high. He's big on the spectrum. Is all the best way I can say it. And nonverbal. Um, he's he's you can tell he's always stressed out because he can't get his words out, he can't get his thoughts out. And my brother loves him to the moon and back. It's just been a lot, for a family that had no experience to we've all got to kind of shift things around and work differently and learn to connect with someone who can't connect back in the typical sense. So we've learned a lot, and then just I've the way my brother has fostered and taken care of this kid through a divorce, through moving, through so many life changes. It's amazing the bond they have, how special it is. And this was my first experience really with autism. Now, as a college professor, I have students on the spectrum, and of course, there's people I run into and I meet fans. So now that I've experienced it in my family, it's great that I know kind of some of the isms and I'm able to kind of navigate and if it's something we're like communicating and that's not flying perfectly, I kind of learned the tools to kind of understand and connect. And usually, if you just use your heart, right? Everyone's got a heart at the end of the day, and even if you're nonverbal, good feelings, good energy, you can get a lot done.
That's what end of the day. Hey, and I definitely relate to going through a lot has an autistic end of it. It's because I too have gone through a divorce between my parents when I was, I think, 4 years old, maybe. 21 now. Also, I really don't remember several moves, free to be exact, between state to state aid. Both of my moms going for eggs and which they're doing well from now. So I definitely admire your brother's tenacity and commitment to his son in spite of all of that. Speaking of commitment, how has being an uncle influenced your views on advocacy and inclusion for autistic individuals? I think you've touched on that a little bit, Ed, but do you mind expanding a little bit more?
Uh, Inclusion, yeah. So that takes me more to like the classroom. Um, yeah, I was fortunate enough in my school. They put me in a class of students that were mixed, just regular students mixed in with people in a with about 4 or 5 students in the special needs program, and it was interesting for me. Right, obviously, you have to kind of figure out a different grading system. Not everyone's going to be performing at the same capacity or understanding the curriculum. Sorry, my dog, in the exact same manner. So it was interesting. It was awesome. Honestly, I connected more with the and this is all like I could never name or say or share anyone's diagnosis, right? But they're sprinkled in with the class, and I could tell that these were the people that I was actually connecting with more, like the dog here, just the human genuineness, the bonds. I'm like I'm not a perfect person. I got my own flaws, you know what I mean? So I'm able to kind of find people's weaknesses, and that's usually leads you to their strengths.
Exactly. Exactly. And I was going to ask how we can make the college experience enjoyable for neurodivergent individuals, but you answered that beautifully. As long as professors are empathetic and focus on the strict range of these individuals, or neurotypical individuals for that matter, we'll never
Mhm.
have half of the issues we have in the world of college experiences ever again, which leads to my next question for you. Social media has given neurodivergent creators a platform to share their stories directly. How do you think this has changed public conversations about autism?
Well, just in my lifetime, I'm 40 years old now. I didn't even know about it in high school, right? There was like dyslexia, there was learning disabilities, but like I didn't know. That means it hadn't crossed my radar. I hadn't in my life experience. I didn't know anyone, and now I swear to you, I think I'd meet someone that's on this. Oh my goodness, I know a personal friend who's got to be in their 50s, and she was diagnosed as being on the spectrum. So it's just become so commonplace, and that spectrum is so, just such a big rainbow. Um, the fact that people are finding out that they have some of the telltale signs, and they get themselves tested, and then it answers questions about why things have been maybe they overtalk or they overshare. And I could be one of them. So I just think it's just that when more people are aware, more people know how to handle these situations, stigmas fade away, and then the world can embrace. Like I said, this can be seen as a strength, a superpower. You might be more intuitive intelligence than anyone else in the room. It's just something else. Is just not operating as it should, but that could be then enhancing some other value quality you have that the world is blessed to be witness to.
Exactly. And I think social media has definitely helped with that. And in a way, which transitions
And
beautifully into my last question for you.
hold on,
How
more
can
on that. One sec, more on that point. Look at yourself. You're hosting your own show on a magazine. Like that's you're skipping the line. You're working for a legitimate publication. And kudos to you, kid. This is amazing to see. Obviously, you've got tons of passion for this and charisma and the technical skills to pull it off. So the fact that you're putting yourself out there is just like showing you social media is opening doors and giving more opportunities. And I'm happy to see it.
that's well at the end of the day? Hey, thank you, sir. Which leads to my last question for you. How can social media platforms become safer and more inclusive spaces for autistic users or the world as a whole in general, for that matter?
Great question. So, and my answer will be basically there's keywords out there that they should put sensors around. Bullying online is disastrous. I think it's gotten a lot better, but when I was out there doing it in the wild west, some of the stuff that was said to me, and I'm a bit of a high school jock. You know what I mean? Like I'm a guy who can take a few hits, but some of the stuff that was said and thrown in my direction, people with less self confidence or whatever quality it is that allowed me to persevere, I fear for. You know, I wouldn't want a kid going up on stage and getting tomatoes thrown at them. And when I was doing YouTube, that was very common day. And not that I didn't throw a few myself, but it's scary. So I think there maybe should be a box like no like people identify with whatever situation they are. Maybe they're LGBTQ, maybe they're on the spectrum, maybe they are a veteran. What? But maybe if we could tell the platforms more, they could then scan the comments prior, so we don't get anything like racism, homophobia, or anyone saying things they shouldn't say to a person who shouldn't have to witness that.
That's actually a really good idea. Like you would enter in your race, sexual orientation, and disability or whatever when you're creating your account, and then it just scans for those keywords.
And that's not within their, like, that's something they would be easily able to implement and be capable of. And hey, if only you have something that you want to disclose, do they even need to do it? But for those who do, what a great idea.
It definitely is. Anyways, that's going to do it for the of you guys. Thanks so much to Michael for coming on and sharing his perspectives. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Autism Digest channel. Pick up a copy of our latest issue by going to autismdigest.com and stay tuned for the audio file to be posted on our Spotify. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.